Good morning, grade 7 students. Welcome to week 5. But before we start, let us review what we have discussed last time. What we're going to do. Directions. Name if the following viewing materials are truthful and accurate. Write real if it shows truthfulness and accuracy, and fake if does not. Coronavirus poster from DOH. Funny meme. News report on the start of classes. Number 4, DepEd poster. Number 5, Encantadia fantaserye. And for our discussion for today, our milk is, or the most essential learning competencies, discover the conflicts presented in the literary selections and need to resolve those conflicts in nonviolent ways. And of course, for our objectives, explain the literary devices used and come up with a possible solution and resolve from the conflict presented. And for our first activity, you have to watch this video and answer the following questions at the end. What is the video all about? Are we also experiencing those kind of feelings? And how do you overcome it? In the following situation, how do you think you will resolve the problem in each situation? Use the sentence frame to share your thoughts. Somebody wanted, but so. Somebody is the person who wants something. Wanted is the thing he or she wants. But is the problem, so is the solution. Example. The student wanted to watch the news for her homework, but her sister refused to change the channel. So, he asked her again and calmly explained the situation. If you are the sister, will you do the same? Why? The illustration shows real-life problems that need immediate solution. They must be resolved before they become bigger problems. What is conflict? When you say conflict, it is a struggle or problem faced by the main character. If it is in the story, it happens because of different views, intentions, or interests between individuals. Conflict is also can make it difficult to form a positive and healthy relationships. And according to Freytag's pyramid, it usually is starting with a rising movement and then the climax and the falling action. In fiction, conflicts creates the tensions and drives the story forward. It is often introduced in the rising action, then the main character is confronted with the conflict that leads to the climax. The conflict is handled in a falling action and finally resolved in the solution or resolution. We have different types of conflict. We have the external and the internal conflict. So when you say external conflict, it refers to the opposition between an individual and some outside forces. Example of internal conflict, person versus person. Or let's say in a movie or in a story, it is hero versus villain. That is example of internal conflict. The following pictures show different kinds of person to person conflict. Examples of external conflict, versus nature, whether it is weather, an animal encounter, or a natural disasters. Another example of external conflict is a person versus society. Someone is escaping from the law or traditions. Example of person versus society. In the literary piece, The Wedding Dance. Another example of external conflict, person versus technology, computer or machines, like what we have seen in the different kinds of sci-fi movies. Another example, external conflict, person versus supernatural, ghosts, gods, aliens, or monsters. Internal conflict refers to the opposition coming from within. This is also known as character versus self, which involves moral and values. It requires a person's decisions when challenged by conscience and needs to choose between right and wrong. A conflict often reveals the theme of the story, the life lesson or the author's message. It is the truth about the way human beings live. As presented in the story, it is also implies a universal view of life which the reader can accept, challenge, or question. In this lesson, you will examine how to resolve conflicts in a non-violent ways. Whether it is your parents or siblings, you can do the following to stop a conflict from getting worse. First, first you need to calm down. Deep breath can be a good start. The second thing to do is listen to each other when discussing about the issue or problem. Third, you need to take responsibility for your actions. Consider what you would have done differently if you could go back in time. Fourth, think of the solutions that are acceptable for both or to everyone. Number five or fifth, Choose the solution together which you think will be the most effective. And lastly, accept when you realize you are wrong. Forgive if you receive an apology and thank the person for solving the problem with you.